Hey YouTube, Duelist Prodigy here. I was gonna do a video on a tutorial for a friend of mine, and he wanted to know how to play the game, and I was like, why not take this opportunity, since I have all my cards out right now, to go over some rulings and some stuff. Alright, but I know this will take too long, and this is probably gonna be a series of how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But first, of course, you guys know I'm not a tournament player, I'm a casual player, but at the same time, I would love to go to a tournament someday, even if it's an open tourney. Just one round, probably. Well, first, of course, we have your old good effect monsters, and usually we have terminology for these types of monsters, Maxi and Valor. We have these monsters called hand traps. And what hand traps do is they activate in hand, and they're really annoying to get rid of. There are only a couple cards that counter them, like Mind Drain and Debunk, that I've heard of. I don't think a lot of other cards counter them. And when you drop Maxi, you draw a card for every time they special summon, and Valor stops effects on board during your opponent's main phase. These are hand traps. And the cool thing about these are they are used in meta play, so these are like really good cards to have. Over BLS, of course, his effects and rulings. There are rulings for cards, guys. Don't just assume. I'm just going over the basics. He is a summoning condition. He is not that means he's an inherent summon. So I think I have it right here. Where is it? I think I have it. I think it's called Blackhorn. Yeah, Blackhorn of Heaven or something. I don't have it. I can't find it on my deck real quick. Let's see real quick if I can find it. Sorry for the delay, guys. I just wanted to know. Yeah, I have it right here in my lap. I got it. Okay. So, Black Horn of Heaven is like no cost over Solemn Warning. And again, cost must be paid first. Negate the special summon of one of your opponent's monsters and destroy it. What you do is that this is a summoning condition, which means summoning conditions are inherent. So, Black Horn of Heaven can kill BLS, opposed to how Solemn Warning can kill anything. So, if the summoning condition is met, you can Black Horn of Heaven. But this does not include summons like fusion monsters, for instance. Polymerization is not an inherent summon. An inherent summon would be something like Wind Up Zenmaines, an XYZ, or Shooting Quasar Dragon, which are by themselves in turn inherent summons. Where this is not an inherent summon, where it wasn't by itself, because fusion monsters and ritual monsters needed a specific card to be summoned with. So that's how you determine an inherent summon over a effect or summoning of a card. Now, over what types of monsters there are, I don't have any of them. There's Toon, Union, Geminis, and I think I'm forgetting some other ones. But the ones that see the most play, in my opinion, are Geminis. And Toons also have some play if you're gonna be trolly. But in meta play, I think Geminis see the most play. Unions are seeing some play. But Geminis, what they do is that they're considered normal monsters on field, unless you Gemini summon them, which means you normal summon them again, and then they gain an effect, and then they become effect monsters. But as long as this card's on the field, it is treated as a normal monster on the field and in graveyard. You have to read the card. Card text is very specific in this game, and I will go over that right now. And then those are Geminis. I don't have any Toon monsters, but basically what a Toon monster is that you tribute for cost, and then you pay some life points. They can attack you directly usually, and they usually have a normal effect of their Toon counterpart. Like Blue Eyes White Dragon, it's just a 3000 vanilla. Just like Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, it's a 3000 vanilla Toon sort of thing. I don't think it has an effect. It might have one. I haven't seen the card in a while, so I wouldn't know. But going over normal monsters, these are vanillas. That's the terminology we call them because of their coloring and that they're not seeing much play. They're usually usually have really high attack and really low defense, and they're not used much in meta play as you would like to see them, but they're not. So yeah, don't worry about these. But that's usually what they have, and they usually have flavor text, not effects. The only deck I think that uses normal monsters right now are the Blue Eyes decks and the Heretics, but that's only if you get really low tier. And then here are cards that activate during damage step or damage calc. She activates during damage calc and he activates at the beginning of damage step. As like I told you, card text is very specific, as you can see. I don't think you guys can see it. Damage step, and this says damage calc. Okay, if you activate, the ruling is that if you chain Honest to Lily, your monster will gain 400, and then Lily can activate her effect during damage calculation. So that is the difference between damage step and damage calc. As opposed, let's say if I was attacking a monster with Lily, I would have to activate this during damage step, and then I can activate her effect during damage calc. So that's why it's different for a few cards, as they do have rulings. And then I'll go over the various types of cards of quick plays and continuous. I don't have any ritual cards, so anyway, what ritual cards are, they usually summon a monster, but the monster has to be in your hand, and then you tribute that equal number set or more of that specific monster. Your relinquished decks are really trollsy with that, and it's really nice. Continuous spells. I don't have Tenki. I think Tensu would have been better. I have a Tensu, but Banner of Courage. What you do is when you activate the effects, these cards have to stay up. If you change something like MST, like a set MST or an SS2, since they are Speed Spell 1, your card Mystical Space Typhoon is SS2. If you do this, that card is not going to resolve on field. As with Harpy's Hunting Ground as well, as these are two continuous effects. Continuous spell, continuous effect. There is a difference. And then we have the SS2 cards. These are the only cards that need to be set, and you have to wait a turn to activate them. Every other magic card is SS1, which can be set and activated as soon as possible. As with cards like Dark Hole and First and Bargain, they have very specific text, as this says destroy all monsters, and this says send one special summon monster on either side. The difference is send and destroy. As you see where Wind Up Zenmains would say, if this card would be destroyed, you can detach one XYZ material from this card instead. The thing with Wind Up Zenmains is that it says destroy. So if you activate something like Dark Hole, he can activate his effect. The thing is with First and Bargain, sorry, I dropped the card. Let me really quick pick this up. The thing with First and Bargain is that it just sends, no ifs, ands, or buts. That means that this card is gone, and you get your level 4 vanilla. And the same thing with Symbols of Duty. Like, it's SS1, and if you chain a card like MST, which is SS2, the effect will no longer resolve. And the thing is that it's all about timing, because as this is chain link, that's chain link 1. I mean, this is chain link 2, and this is chain link 1. As think of it as stairs, as you go up the stairs and then you go down back down the stairs. Just think of it that way. That's what they do. And now we go into the trap card section. There are 3 types of traps, and these are the ones that are usually used in metagame. The most common ones that you will see in metagame. As per usual, continuous is the same as a continuous spell, so if I just mentioned how a continuous spell won't resolve unless it stays on field, the same thing will happen with a continuous trap card. It will not resolve as long as it's on field. There is a difference between cards like this, though. If you activate a card such as Mystical Space Typhoon, as you read as it says destroy, not negate, which people usually get confused with. If you target that card and then he chains into activation, this card's effect will activate and resolve, and then MST will resolve, as what it's called in player terminology, Mystical Space Typhoon. And then Threatening Roar's effect will still linger. That's how it works. SS3 cards. The difference with Speed Spell 3 cards are that they have really weird rulings. And the thing pertaining to Solemn Warning is that their effects, it negates everything. Nothing can stop it. But as per effects, if they negate the negation of them being destroyed or negated, Solemn Warning cannot be activated, such as things as Super Poly, as it says no response into activation, and also the Egyptian God cards that are printed, as you cannot negate their summons. Unless specifically stated, Solemn Warning negates everything, so yeah, and you pay 2,000. Remember, as pertaining to what I said last time, you pay cost first, so everything that's cost must be paid first. And it doesn't matter if they activate a card and chain to it, like Dark Bribe. They draw a card, but if you negate the Dark Bribe, you keep that card because the cost of Dark Bribe is to draw. Usually they have high cost, and yeah. And now going to the extra deck monsters. These are the only 3 extra deck monsters. I'm going to put old to new. Old, new, the newest ones. As you see, they're all limited edition because they were all printed in a specific place. These 2 are from, I think, this one's Generation Force, and this one's 10, and then this one's Jump promo. As XYZs are the new ones, they're like really basic 2 level 3 monsters. All you do is you stack them up, and then that's how it's going to work. That's how you do XYZs. And they are really powerful monsters. Their effects are limited, but they are very powerful monsters. They compensate with their effects, as they are only limited. Synchro monsters are as well as I just said. They are one of the old. They're newer than fusion monsters, but they're newer than fusion monsters, but XYZs are older. This one says 1 tuner synchro and 2 or more non-tuner synchros. What you do with synchro summoning is that it's equal level. Like if they just said 1 synchro monster, 1 tuner and 1 non-synchro monster, as per usual for a synchro monster, is that you add up the levels of the monsters. As pertaining where Wind Up Zen Reigns is different, because these are ranks, not levels, and that's why they differ. So that's what this card does. And so you would need like 12 stars, so like 2, 5, 5. 1 level 2 tuner, and then 2 level 5 synchro monsters, as pertaining to this. And then what fusion monsters say, they also state what they need for fusion material: 1 hero monster, 1 water monster, as per to Absolute Zero does. What Absolute Zero does is that his effect can only be applied face stuff as well. But at the same time, these cards are only summoned by spell card. So things like this guy, like Inherit Summon, cannot be negated. So Thunder King cannot be activated in response to a Miracle Fusion. So as Thunder King also negates Inherit Summons, as this card is not an Inherit Summon, it's a Fusion Summon. So these monsters are summoned by a spell card, usually. And the spell card, and they must respond to the spell card in some way, shape, or form, like as pertaining to Solemn Warning, as it negates a spell, trap, or monster effect that special summons a monster. So yeah, that's how you pertain to that. And that is what those monsters are. These are the basics, guys. Don't take any of this into a regional, because I'm only telling you what I know. There's a bunch of sub-steps in Battle Phase, and there's like 8 steps in Battle Phase as well. And we all know that it's a learning process. It takes time to learn this game, and I'm still learning the game. As pertaining to rulings over negate activation, over negating a card is still confusing to me. I guess negate activation is directly in response to a activation of a card. As pertaining to where negate just means outright negate and not in towards activation of the card, like Dark Bribe says, negate that activation as not pertaining to that the card was never activated in the first place, as pertaining to how Solemn Warning says negate the effect of negate the special summon of a monster, as the monster is not considered to be summoned in the first place. I guess that's where they differ, but I'm not sure. So that's it, guys. Those are the rulings. Those are some of the rulings. Not all of them. As if it would, I would take about 30 minutes to do a video on just the YuGiOh rulings. It would take like 20 fucking minutes. But yeah, don't worry about it, guys. This is just a little thing I'm doing right now. So I will see you guys later, and keep doling.